everybody. Welcome to the Psalms 23 podcast. I'm your host, Nick, and my beautiful wife, Katie, is here too. Say hello.
Hi.
Today, we're going to talk about did God really create the earth, create the world in 6 days? So, my wife's going to go first, and then we're going to go and talk about it.
Okay. So, we're going to be looking in Genesis chapter 1, the very beginning of the Bible. And so, verse 1 says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters." So, when I'm reading that first part, basically, like the first part of it, then in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. You know, when you and I were just talking about it we
Had a little.
before we turned, we had a little bit of a difficulty, and then we restarted the recording. It actually, what I was saying before about, oh well, maybe like the waters had already existed. I actually figured it out right here. It says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." So God created heaven and earth, but he created them as kind of like a blank slate.
It's kind of like a what's it called? Thing painters use.
Yeah.
Easel.
Yeah, he had, I don't know if you've seen like the Bob Ross videos, but like when he uses like the liquid white at the beginning, he was prepping his canvas. So essentially what God was doing was prepping his canvas, because it says that he created the heavens and the earth, but it says on verse 2, the earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. So essentially, God was prepping his canvas for creation. And we can assume that heaven very well could have been fully created at this point, but the earth wasn't. And so it says, not only was the earth formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters, it says, "But the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the water." So God kind of, in a way, was scoping out his canvas, kind of seeing what he wants to do. But, like, the thing that's weird for me to think about is just the fact that even before he started creation, I mean, God was just, because God's always existed, God was literally just existing in a empty, dark void of nothingness. And like, to me, that sounds like a nightmare to me. Just existing, you alone existing in like this dark void of nothing. Because God is the only thing that is eternal. So, well, I mean, now human spirits are, obviously, when we leave this earth, we're gonna go somewhere. But, at this present time, before the creation of the angels and people and just the noisy geese outside, it was literally just God alone existing in nothingness. And then you made, okay, so I knew where I was gonna go with that. But then what happens? Like, what's the first thing that God creates?
God created light and darkness.
Yeah. So God speaks, and then light is born. And in that moment, God defeats darkness, because like it was a dark void with some water, and that was pretty much what was the earth at that moment. It was just like formless dark void with deep water. And so when God creates light, suddenly the darkness is defeated, and now we have the sun, which lights the earth and also brings heat to the earth, because without the sun, without the light, nothing in creation can survive. Which reminds me of the point that you were gonna make.
Yeah, my point is, I have in my little footnotes thing, God put us perfectly in the middle. Basically, like He stuck Earth right in the middle. Like like how our planets are, we are in the middle of all the other planets going around.
Yeah, like in the
Yeah,
universe.
God's put it there because if you put us close, we burn up. We go if you put us farther away, we freeze. And if without what if God what yeah that's the other part. I think it's down the bottom. If
But you can say if you feel like you can put it in there. You can say whatever
yeah,
you
for
think.
like for example, the Earth it has beautiful blue, brown, and white and green. Without God, it looks like a dusty planet or no planet.
Hmm.
So basically, without God, there is no life.
Yeah, but like I think that the first part definitely. I think that all the points you made definitely tie into the conversation in like their own places. But I like how you said, God placed us perfectly. And I mean, you have people that are atheists that'll always try to
Or like
find
the
ways
Big
to,
Bang or something like that.
yeah, they'll
Like
always,
that's just a theory. It's not.
no, but like what I'm trying to go at is they either overlook these things or they try to find scientific explanations for them. But like the truth is if we're talking about a big bang happening, the big bang would have to be so perfectly orchestrated that we would be in the exact place that we needed to be. So like in order for it to just be like this coincidence, it doesn't make sense because the coincidence would have to be so precise that we would be in the exact place that we need to be to sustain human or just life in general. Because if it was just a big bang, I mean, somebody would have to orchestrate that big bang because if if it just were to happen, I mean, how would we be perfectly like it would be just a random chance that we would just be put somewhere. And like you said, even just the tiniest little bit in the wrong direction, we'd either burn to death or freeze to death. So there is an intelligence behind creation because we are placed in exactly the right place where we can survive. And I mean, even people in the coldest parts of the earth, like I watch this lady on YouTube sometimes as she lives in a remote village in Alaska, and she talks about how an average winter day is like -20 to -30 degrees. And even though it's frigid cold, they're still able to live. And
It's not like those other planets out there, like the gas planets. They're
mhm,
they're basically just balls of gas. That's all
yeah.
they are. Even Pluto was a planet, but it's not anymore. But it's a dwarf moon. It's the farthest planet out there, and it's cold on that thing.
Yeah, and then you got the states that are really, or just places in general, states, countries, whatever, that are really, really, really hot. People are still able to live there.
And cultivate it.
Yeah, and like their bodies adapt and stuff like that. And but again, God has placed us in a perfect place where, yeah, 110 degrees feels hot.
But at least you're not on
But
near.
you're not melting or burning to death.
At least you're not on the sun, because the sun's hotter than the Earth itself.
Yeah. So like it's
I think
it's bearable heat.
Mercury's the closest planet to the sun, and it's a lot harder on the Mercury.
Yeah.
And also like you were saying about like about the Big Bang and stuff. Something has to create created that little, you can't see it, but like a little atom, a little atom. Who created an atom? It can't create itself, can it?
No.
God created that.
Yeah.
And then God created everything.
And like I said, it would have to be perfectly orchestrated so that we could be placed in the exact place we needed to be so that life could be sustained. And that just doesn't happen randomly. That's not a coincidence. But okay. So you're wondering what?
I'm wondering if I'm just looking at trying to get to. I'm seeing one of these Bible verses might have some kind of even like, I know John chapter 1 ties in with the Genesis thing.
Yeah, and we can definitely get to that. But I'll keep going while you figure that out. Okay. Okay. So darkness is defeated. Darkness is defeated by the light. And like you said, so the light is what separates the darkness and the light separate, right?
Yes.
And so it becomes day and night. And so moving on to verse 3.
Oh, there we
then
go.
God said, did you find something?
In Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about you, Lord, are the only God who created the heavens and the high heavens with all their stars, and the earth and all that is on it, the seas and all it is in on them. It's pretty much just saying God created everything.
Yeah.
If you want to get it in your translation, you can do it too.
Right, so what is it?
Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 6.
Nehemiah 9:6.
Yeah, because that pretty much goes right with the creation story. There's some other ones on there that I haven't gone through, but I'm trying to pick up the point ones that make sense.
Okay, so you want me to read that?
Yeah.
Okay, it says, "You alone are the Lord. You made the skies and the heavens and all the stars. You made the earth and the seas and everything in them. You preserve them all, and the angels of heaven worship you."
See, does that make sense?
Yes.
Look, there is some verses out that you could go to, and if you want more, if you like to get more information, just don't always.
It reminds me.
What?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead if you want to, but I also thought of another thing that I'd like to read too. So I was thinking, and it might chime in with what you were saying. I was also thinking, you always do that.
I know, it's just our nervous habit.
I was also thinking of the Psalm of David, Psalms 8. And it says, "O Lord, our Lord, your majestic name fills the earth. Your glory is higher than the heavens. You have taught children and infants to tell of your strength, silencing your enemies and all who oppose you. When I look at the night sky and see the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars you set in place, what are mere mortals that you should think about them? Human beings that you should care for them." It might be the mic might be picking up your Bible pages.
Well, some people do in some podcasts.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out where I was. I'll just reread from 4. "What are mere mortals that you should think about them? Human beings that you should care for them. Yet you made them only a little lower than God, and crowned them with glory and honor. You gave them charge of everything you made, putting all things under their authority. The flocks and the herds and all the wild animals, the birds in the sky and the fish in the sea, and everything that swims on the ocean and currents. O Lord, our Lord, your majestic name fills the earth." I thought I remembered that psalm. That psalm is literally like directly referring to God as the creator, and I just thought that was so beautiful. Did you have anything to say about it before I move on?
No.
Okay, so then we move on. I'm going to read from verse 3. We're back in Genesis now. Back in Genesis 1, verse 3. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. Then he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day and the darkness night. And evening passed and morning came, marking the first day. Okay, so one thing that I love that I was thinking about earlier, I love how after God creates everything, he says, "It is good." Everything in creation was meant to be good. God is not the creator of evil. Everything that God created over the course of those 6 days was good. It was the devil and the sin in his heart. It was the sins of one angel that decided that he was
That was
going.
pride.
Yeah, he decided that he was better than God.
I think
That
that was in Isaiah.
and our neighbor's dog.
That's
No,
right.
but like it took one angel to decide that he wanted to try to overthrow God.
It took three. Was it? I forgot.
You want me to finish now?
I think it was three-fourths,
One, I think it was
3/3
I
of
thought
the
it was
angels.
1/3.
Yeah, whatever it is. One.
That's not the point I'm trying to make though, but although I get what you're trying to say. No, what I was trying to say is I mean I guess it could tie into it, but like what I was saying is, it took one angel to decide that he wanted to be God, to bring evil into this creation that God had made that was so perfect and without sin. And then, like you said, then he deceived more angels, and then now we got demons who have come into the picture, and then they come and they deceive more people and they cause more chaos, and then evil's out of control in the world now. I mean, it's no secret.
Go outside.
If you go outside or you have internet or anything like that, I mean, you're going to constantly have the evil of the world thrown in your face. Like it's to the point sometimes where I have to like get off the internet and have my phone on so that people can reach me, but just like set the phone down and stop like doom scrolling, because like whether you're on YouTube or you're on Google or you're on the local news apps or whatever, there's just
A bunch of
there's just
evil.
junk being thrown in your face all the time. It's just constant, it's just constant darkness and evil that is happening every day. I mean, evil people are running amok and they are doing these absolutely terrible things, and then it's all over every news source and it's being shoved down your throat every single day, and it gets to be way way too much. But I really liked how, like, every time God creates something, he was like, it says that, God said it is good, or God saw that it was good. And then when he finishes all of creation, it says, God said it is very good. People often assume that God is the creator of, like, if God created good things, he also created evil. He did not create evil. He's not responsible for why we have horrible things in our lives happen and stuff. Like, God does not cause our loved ones to die. He does not cause sicknesses and famines, and there were times where he did cause plagues and death and acts of judgment. But like, we can't assume that just because like a loved one dies, oh, the judgment of God is on me. No, God does not enjoy inflicting pain. He does not enjoy death. Was never something that was a part of, I mean, God's the author of life, so it was never his intention that our loved ones die. And obviously this is a sensitive topic in Actually, both of our families right now, because you've been experiencing loved ones passing away too. Like, this is actually a sensitive topic in both of our families right now. And it can be really hard to understand, like, why does God let this happen? Why did he let this happen? The truth is, though, being the author of life, this was never his intention.
You got the author of life is God, who is the author of death.
And that's the devil, because you think of John 10:10.
God, he Satan comes and with it.
I'll pull it to it.
I know
I'll go to it now. It says, like, the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. I come so that everybody may have life.
And then in Peter, he says about the Satan is walking around and trying to find people that he can devour.
Yeah. It was never God's intention that people die. In fact, we'll get to this in a few minutes, but it's like when God created humans, he literally told them, I do not want you touching this tree.
Or you're gonna die.
Because I don't want you to die. It is not my will that you die.
But we choose it.
But we chose to touch the tree.
And ate it.
And now there's death in the world. So, like, it's so easy, though, when you're grieving, the first person to blame is God. Like, God caused this death. He could have stopped it, and he chose not to. But the reality is we're the ones that are responsible for the death, because we were the ones that rebelled when God did everything, including sending his own son on the cross to prevent us from having to die.
Like, if God was in control, he would have controlled pretty much all of us, like robots.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why God gave us free will to choose from right and wrong.
And unfortunately, we chose evil and corruption.
We choose the shiny object over God.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now the first day has come, and it's a brand new morning. The very first beautiful morning that has been created by God. And so now God said, let there be a space between the waters to separate the waters from heaven and the waters from the earth. And that is what happened. And God made the space to separate the waters of the earth from the waters of the heavens. And God called the space sky. And evening passed, and morning came, marking the second day.
Yeah, if people got confused what separates water from water, it's basically he separates the sky from the water.
And you know, this is something that I was thinking about this morning, and this is something that kind of my poor mama. Hi, mama. When I was typing this out this morning, it got me kind of really thinking about it, and then I kind of pulled my mama into the conversation.
It happens.
I love you, mama.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, she's listening to the podcast when it comes out. Hi.
But anyways, there are often times when I look up at the sky, and I just think, this is the Bible verse that gives people that idea of heaven being in the sky. And I mean, we know that it's in a different dimension, but we also know from this Bible verse, though, that it is above us somewhere. And sometimes I just look up at the sky and I think about how there's a whole nother kingdom
that we can't see
up there that we can't see. And, you know, there are people up in this kingdom that are alive and walking around, and, you know, Jesus is up there, the Father's up there, the Holy Spirit. You just, when you look up at the sky and you just think, you know, on the other side of the sky, there is a whole nother world. And I mean, there are people up there that love us, and it's just it's almost overwhelming in a way when you think about it, because like you look up there and you just think, I mean, you even have loved ones up there that you don't know. And you know, I have loved ones up there, and it's just it's so overwhelming to but it's so beautiful at the same time because I mean we just we're down here living our life, but God confirms in this Bible verse that the sky separates the waters from the earth from the waters of heaven. So there's a whole nother kingdom above us. And every single day we have pieces of heaven that come down. I mean, there
Right.
every day, yeah, every day there is weather. There, rather it is
Bro.
cranky crow. No, but rather there are angels coming down. You know, servants of God. I mean, the Bible says that the angels are they're servants of the Lord, and He sends them to take care of His children. So rather we have angels coming down or God himself in the person of Jesus. I mean, there are heavenly beings that walk this earth every day and we don't even know. And this is where I pulled my mama into it because I put her on the spot this morning asking, if she had ever had any encounters with angels. Um And because Hebrews 13, verse 2 said, "Don't forget to show hospitality to strangers, for some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it." And I mean, the angels are essentially pieces of heaven coming down to earth. And I mean, so it proves that although we cannot cross this barrier,
Like
the angels can.
people try to do it, they fail.
Yeah, but the angels can cross this barrier.
You had think you had like a little piece of white feather some point on your side of your bed.
Yeah. And I mean there are some people too that say that if you see a little feather, then it's a sign that an angel's been nearby.
Yeah, big feather. I don't know where that came from.
No. No, but of course these are just people's
Yeah.
assumptions too.
Don't take it.
There's no biblical reference to it, but things like that are comforting. And I mean especially we see it too like when a loved one passes away. Um there are times where like God will send angels to comfort you or little signs God will show to you to show you that he's there with you and that he is comforting you. And I think that it's so beautiful that there's not only a whole nother kingdom, but that this kingdom is, even though we cannot enter into this kingdom right now, this kingdom is still very much present and we still get to see we still yeah, we still get to experience it in small ways. If we open our eyes and look around, we can still experience this kingdom.
Yeah, it's got to open your take your blinds off so you can see.
Yeah, we can still experience this kingdom every day. You go into something?
I'm looking to see if this works. But...
Okay. But let me.
Oh, that's cool. Have you read the Psalms 146
Verse.
verse 6? I have it right here if you want to read it. It's a small little
What is it?
Psalms 146 verses 6.
146 verse 6.
Yeah. You'll find it's like a small little.
Okay, it says, "He made heaven and earth, the sea and everything in them. He keeps every promise forever." And yeah, that definitely is so beautiful because that also proves the next point I was going to make. Like this kingdom, it seems so far away, but it really is so much closer than we think. And I mean, we see little bits of this kingdom every day, even though we cannot walk into it ourselves right now. God has made it so that there are still parts of this kingdom that can be earthbound. We still have angels coming down. We still have signs from God showing us that he's here and who he is and everything. Like but it's just it's always like amazing to me when I take time to look up at the sky and I think, or like a beautiful sunset, and you think that sunset is so beautifully painted. Like that's not some sort of weather phenomenon. That is the sign of a creator, a very artistic creator at that, who can paint the sky so beautifully.
And like he created the birds and all that stuff
Yeah.
from his little hand.
Yes.
And I also like talking about like God and angel stuff. There's always the opposite of it too. That we could do a podcast on that at some point.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're on to day 3. So it says, I guess I should read that first.
Yeah, you should.
Then God said, "Let there be space between the waters to separate the waters from the heavens and the waters of the earth." And that is what happened. God made this space to separate the waters of the earth and the waters from the heavens. Again, we have that barrier between kingdoms now. God called the space sky, and the evening passed and morning came, marking the second day.
Yeah, like when you talk about separating from sky from the water, like you said, it's heavens, but then eventually they change it to sky. So
Yeah.
basically, God's like, okay, let's change the word heaven to sky.
Yeah.
Because it'd be more easy to fathom.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're on the morning of day 3. Then God said, "Let the waters beneath the sky flow together into one place, so dry ground may appear." And that is what happened. And God called the dry ground land, and the waters seas. And God saw that it was good. So for this first part, first off, I'm very grateful that God created land, because if God didn't create land, we'd all have to have little boats just to like get. Anytime you go outside, you just would have to like get on a boat. I'm very grateful that we have land.
I realized I forgot we had pictures too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how we're gonna put those pictures.
They're right there.
Okay. That was the game. Well, there we go. There's the picture. Yeah. First off, yeah. I'm really glad that we have land. And I'm really glad that the waters have barriers so that we're not just in a sea.
Or if there was barriers, means that's gravity. If without the barrier and gravity, water would be going off the planet. So you'd be going.
I'm glad that there's barriers. Okay, so now that God creates land, he's like, okay, we need, and so now we're at the point where the land and the water is separated now. So now we got the seas and we got land. And God's like, okay, now we need vegetation. So now he starts creating, now he starts creating like the plants and the trees. It says right here, it says, "Then God said, let the land sprout with vegetation, every sort of seed-bearing plant, and trees that grow seed-bearing fruit. These seeds will then produce the kinds of plants and trees from which they came." And that is what happened. The land produced vegetation, all sorts of seed-bearing plants, and trees with seed-bearing fruit. Their seeds produced plants and trees of the same kind. And God saw that it was good. So now God's creating fruit and different types of trees and grass and, all of this stuff that would later become food sources for creation. Because, you think about the animals that eat the grass and the fruits. And, even nowadays, we eat fruits and vegetables and stuff that come from the land. And so this is the day where God creates all of this stuff. So this is where the first food sources come.
Exactly.
So. Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Want a rock?
No, I don't want.
God created rocks too.
Okay, so now evening passed and morning came, marking the third day. So now we're on to the morning of day 4. Yes, day 4. So I like that little picture. That picture is very nice. I don't know why. I don't know why the guy on day 6 is poking himself in the forehead. I don't get that.
I think it's representing God created man.
I know, but he's like either that or he's like saluting or something. I don't know.
No, he's going like this.
Yeah, that's like saluting.
No, I think he's going over the right. Like, ooh,
Okay.
fancy.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, day 4. We're gonna be here all night if I don't hurry up. Okay. Okay. Then God said, "Let light appear in the sky to separate the day from the night. Let them be signs to mark seasons, days, and years. Let these lights in the sky shine down on the earth." And that is what happened. Okay, so hold on. I'm looking at this. Okay. So this actually right now is when that first light that we read at the very beginning was God. Yes, God was the one that was lighting. He was the one that was the light. So we kind of twisted. We kind of
That's why we're not. This is why we're not. We are imperfect.
yeah, we're kind of learning a little bit too. So that light in the beginning was God. God was the one that was lighting the earth, like you said. He was the one warming the earth. He was the one that was he was the one that was temporarily replacing the sun that he had not created yet. So, now he's creating. Was there something you want to say?
Well, I'm saying if God did not create the sun, he would still be the light on the planet because you need light to keep warm.
Yeah. So, was that it?
And also, me like those pictures.
Okay, so moving on. All right, so now God is creating the sun and the moon and the stars.
And the planets.
Yeah. So it says right here, God made 2 great lights. One to govern the day, which is the sun, and one to govern the night, which would be the moon. And then he also made the stars. God set these lights in the sky to light the earth, to govern the day and night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. So, yeah.
It's like kind of like you walk through the day, you have the sun. When you walk at night, what you get like eerie and scary, like eerie and like quiet, no noise. You're going, is someone walk behind us?
Well, like, and then, so the thing is so now that's why there's the moon and the stars. So nighttime prior to this would have been completely pitch black.
You won't be able to see anybody.
Yeah.
Going, da, 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 whoop, right off the cliff.
Because God was the light that lit the day. And so now that, when nighttime comes and God steps away with the light, it becomes pitch black.
My question: if we did have the moon, what would people do if there was no moon? It was so pitch dark, no one can see each other in front of it.
It would be just like living in at nighttime. It'd be just like living underground. It would be so scary because
no one would go outside. Everyone would be staying home like, no, I'm not going to think because I know it's going to car crash in 2 seconds.
Because like even having street lights, I mean, they only provide so much light. I mean, you still depend on like moonlight. And I mean, you're talking about thousands of years before modern technology. I mean, like in Jesus's time when he was walking the earth, and even
a candle.
From the story of creation all the way through like 200 years ago, there wasn't electricity. People depended on moonlight to light the night because they didn't have streetlights and stuff. If there was no moon, it would just be pitch black.
You could have a candle, but that's going to give you like this much
Teeny
radius.
tiny little bit of light.
And no cavemen were in this part.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So now
Ow.
now evening comes and it passes. So we got evening passed and morning came. And so this is the end of the 4th day. So this is the morning of day 5.
Dolphins coming up.
Okay. Okay. So okay. Okay, so now it's the morning, like I said, now it's the morning of day 5. Then God said, "Let the waters swarm with fish and
Dolphin.
other life."
Dolphin.
Yes. "Let the skies be filled with birds of every kind." So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that scurries and swarms in the water, and every sort of bird, each producing offspring of the same kind. And God said that it was good. Then God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful,
Fruitful and multiply.
be fruitful and multiply. Let the fish fill the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth." Okay, so now we got every type of sea creature, and we got all the birdies of the sky. And we got everything that scurries on the ground and swarms in the water. Right?
Yep. We have something.
Right.
I don't know if this goes that part or it's probably when we first did the day 1 or something like that.
So this one actually on this day, sorry to be rude. This is everything scurrying in the water. This is not the living the things scurrying on the ground. So I don't know how you can scurry in the water. I guess if you're like a hermit crab and then the hermit crabs are on the sea floor and they're scurrying across the floor. I'm guessing that's what he means by scurrying creatures,
Probably.
like the crabs and stuff.
I have on one of my let's go footnotes. I didn't a chance to probably should I read it now or should I read it after?
I mean, if you want to, if you think it ties into it.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Look outside and see the sky, the birds, and nature, and all other life. Without God, there won't be life on the planet.
Yeah, that is true.
Because if you look outside right now, what do you hear out there? Except for that car. Birds. The wind.
People talking.
Yeah, and some people are...
Dogs barking.
I'm talking about nature itself.
Right, but the thing is that these are all...
But the sad...
things created by God.
God created... sad reality, they're not, like, taking their phones and putting it down and looking up. Or looking at the whole creation that God created. They care about these block things.
And that reminds me of like the time when I told you when there was a beautiful sunset in the sky, and I told you, I said, I wonder how many of these I've missed because I was staring at my cell phone or watching TV.
God puts them out there to see every night, but we don't look up and look at the sunset. Like me, I can only see maybe a little bit of the sunset, but most of it's different colors that I can't see, so it's like difficult. So my wife can look at it and she look, well, I mean, sunsets that I haven't seen through my entire life from when I was born all the way up to now.
Yeah.
Like you go outside and you see the sky, the blue sky, you see birds flying, birds singing, other animals out there that God created that we are missing. You can take a picture of them, but that's not going to keep it in your brain. Like, oh, look at this, what God created.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can continue now. Anything else you want to say with that?
No, I don't really think so. We're on sea creatures right now, and yes, you're dolphins that you love.
That you cannot eat. Triggered.
Triggered. Okay, so now we have the seas filled with every kind of sea creature, and we have birdies.
Cardinal?
And so these are the first living creatures after plants, because I mean plants are living too. Okay, so now we're starting to, we're starting to get into God's creating
Land.
living creatures now. Yes. Okay. So now God blesses them, all the creatures of the sea and the birds of the air, and he says, "Be fruitful and multiply." And then evening passes and morning comes. So now that's the end of the fifth day, and now it's the morning of day 6. So now day 6, the final day.
Man.
Well, hold on a minute, sir.
Hold it on, it's not working.
Oh my goodness, I can't. Okay. So now, like you said, what says here? Okay, so now we're in verse 24. Then God said, "Let the earth produce every sort of animal, each producing offspring of the same kind, livestock, small animals that scurry along the ground, and wild animals." And that's what happened. God made all sorts of wild animals, livestock, and small animals, each able to produce offspring of the same kind. And God saw that it was good. Yes, so now we're talking about guinea piggies,
Snakes.
rodents, livestock. So we got,
Cockroaches. Locusts.
all sorts of
locusts.
all sorts of different creatures now. Now we got, all sorts of land creatures. We got sea creatures. The earth is now populated with animals. And a lot of these also would become food sources later on. Except for dolphins.
Dolphins were not harmed making this video.
Yes. So now, verse 26, God said, "Let us make human in our image to be like us. They will reign over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, the livestock, all the wild animals on the earth, and the small animals that scurry along the ground." Now, I know you want to talk about... Well, I guess I should read 27 first, because then I know you want to talk about this one.
Yep.
So God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them.
Well, I think we were talking yesterday about. I think we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we?
No, I don't think so. But
I thought we were talking about how if talking about Jesus and the Father and the Holy Spirit, in the beginning.
No, we were talking about that in one of our podcast episodes, though, which, I mean, if you don't have any set points you want to make with this one, we can just go on with it.
No, I'm just saying, people, they get that confused, is it God creating everything, or is it Jesus, or is it the Holy Spirit?
Well, that's not what this is talking about, but
it's God created man in our image and our likeness.
Yeah.
That's all three.
Yeah, and so that's what I was wondering, if you wanted to talk about, or if you don't have any points about that.
My point was God, the Father, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, all of them created everything.
Yeah, which is why...
That's what John 1:1 says the same thing.
And that's also why it says, God said, "Let us make human beings in our image." So things were created, everything was created by the Father, through the Son, by the power of the Holy Spirit. So when you look at yourself and how you are as a human being, it gives you a look of what God looks like. Because, I mean, when Jesus came down and walked the earth, he came down as a full man. He had 2 arms, 2 legs, everything. When you look at yourself as a person, you resemble what God looks like. So, I mean, there are a lot of people have different theories as to what they think God looks like. A lot of people think that God is like this old guy in the sky and stuff like that. No.
Just look at Jesus.
like you are a visual representation of what God looks like. And I mean, Jesus never got old.
He
And
lived 33 years, and he
God does
went back
not
home.
age. Age does not apply to God. So God's not an old man in the sky.
If you want to know what God looks like, look at Jesus.
Exactly, and Jesus was young. So, anyway,
Get back to the point.
we are getting back to the
I
point.
know, I'm
The
just saying.
point, so that's the point that we're making is like when it says in our image, it's the
The
three
three-
people of the Godhead,
Yeah.
not three different gods.
I know that the people saying the Trinity is not in the Bible. It's not, but you can get you can get little clues of all three in the Bible.
Yeah. We're throwing a little piece of paper back and forth at each other. That's not very mature. Anyway.
Hey, we're having fun too.
Yes. So now God blesses them, and he says, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and govern it. Reign over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground." Then God said, "Look, I have given you every seed-bearing plant throughout the earth, and all the fruit in the trees for your food. And I have given every green plant as food for all the wild animals, the birds in the sky, and the small animals that scurry along the ground. Everything that has life." And that is what happened. Then God looked over all he had made, and he saw that it was very... this is the part that I love. So God says prior to this, it is good. It is good. It is good.
Very good.
But yeah, now God has created everything. And he looks over his creation and he says, it is very good. So God created everything to be good. God did not say, oh, this half of creation is good. But this half of creation is not. No. So everything in creation was very good. This is, before the fall of man. Yeah. And so I'm going to read the first couple verses of chapter 2 because it goes along with what we're saying. Okay, so all right, so it says, "And evening passed and morning came, marking the 6th day." So creation at this point is done, and God saw that it was very good.
Guess what he does on the 7th day?
So it says, so the creation, this is chapter 2, verse 1. "So the creation of the heavens and the earth and everything in them was completed. On the 7th day, God had finished his work of creation, so he rested from all his work. And God blessed the 7th day and declared it holy, because it was the day that he rested from his work of creation." And so that is also why we have the Sabbath day.
I know there is churches out there that, what's it called, think that Saturday is the Sabbath, but
And the Jews do too.
Yeah, but if they think that they're going off, I think the Jewish calendar.
Mm.
We are going off of some other calendar.
We're going off of the
So
what was that guy that put Christian holidays on the calendar? Constantine.
Yeah, Constantine.
We're going off of his calendar.
Because I know there's two Jews and the 7-day Advocate. They go off on Saturday is their Sabbath day.
Yeah.
But however, it's for us it's Sunday. But it doesn't matter what day you have Sabbath. You just pick a day of the week and just have it as a Sabbath.
Yeah. And so verse 4, this is the account of the creation of the heavens and the earth.
Wow. Well, it makes sense because God created everything, and even like all these skeptics or these atheist scientists believe, oh, it started with a Big Bang. Like, excuse me, who created that Big Bang?
Yeah.
It cannot create itself. Somebody has to create the atom. So basically, you got one option. You got one option is God.
Yeah, and so we kind of debunked two things in one episode too, because
God created everything,
except for evil.
Except for evil. Evil came when our dingle butts rebelled.
It actually came technically when
Satan came.
Lucifer,
Had a war in heaven, and Lucifer got kicked out.
because he had his pride. But
The thing is, like, I think we're having on the other podcast at some point, but like talking about that if we listened to God and we didn't battle against God, we'd still be in the Garden of Eden to this day. We would still be having to multiply everything.
mhm.
But it takes one little person in your ear saying, "Hey, go this way. This is better than that."
Yeah, and I mean the garden was full of trees.
Animals you could pat, lions, and other poisonous snakes and stuff like that. You could hold and stuff. But now you look at them and going, "Stay away from because you're gonna kill me."
Yeah, and so it might be it definitely for a future episode it might
We
be
could keep-
worth it to do like the fall too.
We could do like a series on Genesis. Like,
Yeah.
up to maybe maybe after Noah, and then we could just figure something else after that.
Yeah, well, I think
'Cause there
also
is the-
too, like if people wanted to, I
Yeah.
also think that we could do like a full Genesis series.
Yeah,
Genesis-
because there's some really good stuff in Genesis. Like,
There's some twisted
yeah,
stuff
like
too.
that's gonna be like parent advised kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like even in with the angel who follows Lucifer,
Hmm.
those people, you know what happened when they breed with the woman and they they have Nephilims and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That could be a different topic for another day and stuff like that. Where we wanted to cover the 6 days and he rested on the 7th day.
Yeah. So
Is there any question you want to give them?
no.
No.
But our question at the beginning of the podcast, I don't know if you remember to ask it, but
It's in the
so
it was-
did God create the earth in 6 days?
yes.
And here we go. We answered.
You have it right there.
Yes.
And anything else you want?
No.
You want to think of?
I don't think so. I think that we've addressed everything.
Okay.
So,
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast. Please let us know what other topics we could tackle. And also thank you for all support and our family members out there. Say hi. And see you guys next time.
bye.
Remember, love one another.
Oh, goodness.